Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
Lyra Valkyria and Bayley defeat Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler.
Natalya and Maxine Dupree.
Caden Carter and Katana Chance.
B-Fab and Michin.
And Piper Niven and Alba Fire in a tag team gauntlet match.
Rey Fenix defeats Berto.
Zelina Vega beats Chelsea Green via countout.
Tiffany Stratton defeats Roxanne Perez.
And LA Knight and Randy Orton defeat Tama, Tonga and Solo Sikoa. Now, if you want to know what really happened, Charlotte Flair sent home.
WrestleMania matches revealed for each night.
Charlotte Flair attacks Tiffany Stratton. We begin with Nick Aldis inviting Randy Orton down to the ring for a scrap. No, not really. When Orton gets in the ring, he says he can tell by the look in Aldis's eye that he took Randy's RKO personally. He goes on to say there isn't a match on the table at WrestleMania 41 for him, and then it would be his 20th time competing at WrestleMania, even suggesting Nick lose the suit for a night and gears up too. Aldis says he wants Orton's respect. Orton says he has it, but if Aldis doesn't deliver on a match for Orton at WrestleMania, then he can't promise he'll apologise to Mickie James after he does what he's going to do, whatever that may be. Solo Sikoa with Tama Tonga then head out, telling Aldis to tell Orton to get out the ring, saying nobody wants to hear Orton crying about not going to Mania. Solo tells Orton he's in the past, as is LA Knight, because next week Jacob Fatu is walking out as the new US champion. Orton can't believe they've interrupted him and he's furious, so invites them both into the ring. They accept and enter the ring with a numbers game playing to their advantage, beating up Orton. Not for long though, as Knight then heads out and aids Orton, with the faces, of course, standing tall. Knight then proposes he and Orton take on Tama and Solo later.
Next up, the women's tag team gauntlet match, with the women's tag champions Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez sitting at ringside. First out, the team of Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and they're against Pure Fusion Collectives Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. PFC take it to Bayley to begin with until she manages to tag in Lyra, who knocks Baszler from the ring and readies to dive out after her. As she runs to the ropes to dive out though, she's met with a missile dropkick from Stark, who'd been blind tagged by Baszler just before she'd left the ring, with the kick knocking Valkyria down and Stark getting a 2 count cover.
Baszler then tags back in, with Stark then hitting this move from the top rope, with Baszler then tagging in again, even though she's already in and standing in the ring, which I'm pretty sure is illegal. She then covers Lyra for 2, with Bayley breaking the pin. Even if Baszler was tagging in Stark, why did Baszler cover Lyra for the pin?
Don't know what's going on.
The ref saw the tags too as he acknowledged them. To me, very confusing, don't know what the hell was going on. The match ends though, thank goodness, with a jackknife pin from Lyra on Baszler, sending PFC packing and maybe to get a little more practice in.
Out next, the team of Natalya and Maxine Dupree. And as we come back from a break, we can see Natty taking on Lyra and then Bayley before tagging in Dupree. Dupree enters the match with a crossbody to Bayley and gets a 2 count cover. She then stacks Bayley and Lyra in the corner, squashes them and follows up with a reverse caterpillar and covers Bayley for 2. Growing in confidence, Maxine decides to go for a sharpshooter, but as she's trying to lock it in, Bayley gets her with an inside cradle, getting the 3 count and defeating Team Natty and Dupree.
Chance and Carter run down next, with Carter getting 2 counts on Bayley before Chance blind tags and covers Bayley for another 2. A double team by double KC doesn't pay off as Bayley gets her knees up, drops an elbow from the top and gets 2 count cover over the re-tagged in Carter. Lyra's tagged in with her and Bayley looking to double team Carter, but Carter has other ideas, booting Lyra and then setting her up for the cake stand, which Chance and Carter pull off. As the newly tagged in Chance goes for the cover, Bayley goes for the save, but Valkyria kicks out. Chance attacks Lyra, but Lyra reverses into Nightwing, covers and gets the 3, knocking out the cake stand performers.
B-Fab and Meechin head out next as we hit a break and come back to find Fab and Meechin beating on Lyra before Bayley comes in, eats a tornado DDT and gets covered by Meechin for 2. Meechin then dives out at Lyra with B-Fab trying a standing heel kick on Bayley, which Bayley reverses into a rose plant, and you guessed it, covers her for the victory.
Oh wow. 4 teams down, 1 to go as the Secret Hervis head out. Piper Niven and Alba fire. Niven forgets to salute, leaving Alba on her own before Alba gets to work on Bayley. Niven then gets tagged in with the 2 double teaming Bayley, followed by a senton from Niven and cover for 2. Back from yet another break and the Hervis seem to be in control, swapping tags and generally beating on Bayley. That is until they try a double suplex, which Bayley reverses into a double DDT and then tags in Valkyria. She enters with a crossbody to Niven, chops her with feet and hands, hits her with a tornado DDT, and then goes for the fisherman suplex. No chance, as Piper suplexes Lyra, then climbs the turnbuckle. Big mistake, as Lyra gets up and powerbombs Niven, tags in Bayley, who drops an elbow from the top rope, and covers Niven for the 1. That's it, Niven kicks out on 1. It's rock hard.
Hervis then double team Bayley, with Lyra making the save on 2 as Alba covered the former hugger. Niven then gets powerbombed from the apron to the outside by Lyra with assist from Bayley, with Alba then taking advantage by covering Bayley for 2 twice. Bayley then hits the rose plant, tags in Valkyria, who leg drops Alba and covers for the 1, 2, 3. Lyra and Bayley are off to WrestleMania to face Morgan and Rodriguez for the women's tag team titles.
Now, for me, my opinion, Niven was a little sloppy here, forgetting to salute at the start.
Yeah.
And then when she had to go out the ring by going over the top rope, she couldn't. So Lyra had to find another way to get her out, which she did, but shouldn't have had to. Mind you, we all have our off days, don't we, Sally?
Yes, we do, Michael.
We then hear that after last week's altercation between Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, the 2 will receive disciplinary action, with Flair being sent home for the rest of the week after attacking Stratton in a parking lot just hours before SmackDown would start.
We find out that the match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania will be a Sin City street fight.
What?
With the 2 then heading out to the ring for a nice, friendly chat.
Of course, it's always friendly.
As Priest heads down the ramp though, McIntyre attacks from behind, with backstagers breaking it up and then leading Priest away. Captain Mac then gets in the ring and repeats that he only tells the truth, calling Priest a parasite. Drew vows to give Priest the beating of a lifetime before removing his eye patch, saying he's 100% cleared and that Priest is 100% in trouble. Priest at this point comes back out, runs to the ring, attacks Drew, sending him to the outside. Drew turns things around using the ring steps to put the Punisher down and then follows up with a Future Shock DDT onto the bottom half of the ring steps.
Backstage we see DIY watching their loss from last week where Ciampa ran into the exposed turnbuckle, causing him to get pinned by Sabin, with Motor City picking up the win. They're complaining to Pretty Deadly, saying it's a conspiracy, with the S-Boys laughing and saying they're out of their minds. As the S-Boys head off, Motor City head into shot, telling DIY it's karma, before letting us know they'll be facing the Street Profits next week for the tag titles. Sabin actually says, we're focused on next week because we get our shot at SmackDown. Why does SmackDown hold the belts?
Yeah.
Against the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits.
Rey Fenix versus Berto next. Santos Escobar sending Berto to the ring on his own, with he and Angel heading back to the back. Rey heads to the top rope, but Berto sends him to the outside and follows with a very impressive corkscrew dive over the top rope as we hit a break. When we come back, we're in the ring and see Phoenix pulling off a huge drop kick from the top rope, a kip up, some chops, an inverted flying headbutt. No, me neither. Berto escapes the apron, with Phoenix stomping his back from the top rope and then doing his own corkscrew over the top rope to Berto. Back in the ring, a cover gets Phoenix 2, with Berto then getting a 2 count off a kick to Phoenix after he was perched on the top rope.
Berto hits a sit-down powerbomb and covers for another 2 before we head to the top rope and see a Frankensteiner from Phoenix who covers, with Berto rolling out of the one-armed cover on 2. Berto manages another sit-down, sit-out powerbomb and cover for 2 before heading up top once again. He attempts a moonsault with Fenix countering with his feet, following up with a goodbye amigo kick and then the Mexican muscle buster. Fenix goes for the cover and picks up the win. After the match, Santos heads out with Angel telling Berto to shake Rey's hand. He reluctantly does, then leaves the ring, with Escobar also shaking Rey's hand.
Backstage, we have Byron Saxton with Roxanne Perez, and he asks why she's here. She says she's here to speak with Nick Aldis as she's this year's runner-up to the Women's Royal Rumble, and would gladly step up to face Stratton at WrestleMania for her title, adding that she's a professional.
Little dig there.
Stratton then appears with the two arguing outside Aldis's office. Stratton offers to give Perez a match tonight, with Nick thinking about it. I suppose if Flair is suspended, then Perez, coming second in the Royal Rumble, is rightfully the next in line for a title shot.
Because at the moment it looks like she's out. We get a vignette of Paul Heyman and CM Punk calling each other best friends, before we see Chelsea Green knocking on the Doctor's door, trying to get Fire and Niven out from there to aid her in her match with Zelina Vega. We see another smoky vignette before Green and Vega get underway.
Vega goes for a quick roll-up with Green kicking out on two and then sending Vega from the ring and dropping her on the announcer's desk before throwing her back in the ring. Green then complains to Joe Tess before heading back into the ring. As she gets in, the bell rings, and that's it then. We find out Green has been counted out, and so therefore loses the match. Both women were out the ring for over 10 seconds, but who's counting? Green for nearly 30 seconds.
Yeah, she got back in just in time. Well, she didn't.
Well,
she lost.
yeah.
Ref counts 10. You've been out 30 seconds, but we'll call it 10. Anyway, backstage we see Santos Escobar telling Berto he's disappointed in him, and then telling Angel that they're going to find Fenix and congratulate him on a job well done. The two then head off as we then see Andrade speaking with Berto, telling him that he's a great wrestler and to keep his head up. Berto tells him to mind his own business before heading off himself.
We have a vignette from Naomi next, who's wearing razor blades in her hair, and she calls Jade a leech, scum and an opportunist, but one word that fits her to the core is snake. Naomi goes full Wyatt 6 before saying she's doing what's best for her, and then advises Jade to proceed with caution. Cargill hits back at her with her own vignette, saying the moment is hers, and that she's not angry, she's peed. The glow is fading and Naomi's trying to stay relevant. She accuses Naomi of being jealous and then adds Naomi's biggest threat is the storm that is coming.
We head to the ring next and see the different iterations of the, I suppose, WWE Championship, with Cody Rhodes then heading out. He says the belt is about the next 20 champions, not about John Cena wanting to take the title home and retire with it, or words to those effect. Rhodes talks about the various people who have held the different belts before speaking about all the other superstars in the back and how they make each other better. Cody then grabs the title, saying this stays home and stays with us.
Backstage again with Byron Saxton, who has the Street Profits with him. He asks them how they're feeling about facing Motor City next week in their defence of their tag titles. Ford talks a little smack with Dawkins chipping in saying they run this division. Cue Miz and Hayes. Miz pretty much says he wants to be 10-time tag team champion, with Hayes adding that they want the smoke. So tag match incoming.
Not at WrestleMania though. Next up, Tiffany Stratton against Roxanne Perez. We start with some pushing, side headlocks, cartwheels and slapping before we get arm drag takedowns and a snap suplex from Stratton, followed by 2 count cover. Perez rakes Stratton eyes with the ref distracted by the ring skirt and then throws her into the ring post before jumping on her arm. We must have hit a break then as we're in the ring with Stratton landing an elbow on Perez in the corner after a tumbling back spring, with her then hitting a spine buster and covering for 2. Another spine buster gets another 2.
Perez denies the prettiest moonsault ever by Russian leg sweeping Stratton from the middle rope and goes for, well, we didn't see it as the screen blacked out, so it must have been devastating. Whatever she did though got her a 2 count cover. Perez gets the crossface in, which Stratton escapes from with a rolling senton. She then finishes the match with the prettiest moonsault, covering Roxanne for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Charlotte Flair appears,
What's she been sent home?
pulling Stratton from the ring and throwing her into the timekeeper's barrier, ring post and over the announcer's desk. Wade Barrett then steps in and manages to calm Flair down.
She's been sent home. Security in that place, awful. After a recap from Monday of Heyman now owing Rollins a favour, we get the WrestleMania card reveal. Saturday's main event will be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. We'll also have Jade Cargill against Naomi, the tag champs, the War Raiders, taking on the New Day, which I think we said would be a match Monday or in the musings. Rey Mysterio taking on El Grande Americano. LA Knight defending his US title against Jacob Fatu. Tiffany Stratton defending her WWE Women's title against Charlotte Flair. And World Heavyweight Champion Gunther defending against Jey Uso.
Sunday sees Lyra Valkyria and Bayley taking on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight.
I hope it goes to the street, not just round the arena.
Yeah. Bron Breakker defends his Intercontinental title in a fatal four-way against Finn Balor, Penta and Dominic Mysterio. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. The triple threat for the Women's World Championship between Io Sky, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. And finally, Cody Rhodes against John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship.
That's the real main event.
Yeah.
Sunday night one. Anyway, last match of the night, LA Knight and Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Tama starts, as always, with Solo quickly coming in and keeping LA in their corner. It's not long though until Knight gets away and tags in Orton, who scoop snaps both Tama and Solo before hitting Sikoa with his vintage draping DDT. After the break, the heels are in charge, with Solo knocking LA from the apron as he continues to damage Orton. Randy finally makes the tag, as does Solo, with the megastar then taking it out of Tama with a power slam, elbow drop and cover for two. Solo breaks the cover.
Solo then Simone spikes Knight, with Orton then sending him from the ring and delivering an RKO to Tama. Solo then drags Orton from the ring, with the two then fighting off into the crowd. We head back to the ring and see Knight and Tonga stumbling around until they back into one another, with Knight reacting quickest and hitting Tama with BFT, and then covering for the victory. After the match, Fatu enters the ring, super kicking Knight and then beating him down with multiple headbutts, a hip attack in the corner and 2 moonsaults. SmackDown goes off the air with Jacob standing over a broken LA Knight and then just managing another moonsault as we fade to black.
Got to get them moonsaults.
Yeah.
Hasn't it? Good to see the WrestleMania card reveal.
Yes.
Yeah. At least it gives you an idea of when people are fighting and what's happening, because we're going to do a predictions video later next week, a little bit closer to the time. So now we can sort of say, right, Saturdays and then Sundays, rather than just doing a block of 20 matches and trying, as you say, trying to guess where things are. The Priest McIntyre match sounds interesting. Now it's going to be a Sin City street fight.
Yeah, I hope it's, as you said, not just around the ring, but actually going out.
Yeah, and not just in the crowd. I want you in the parking lot, on the streets. It's going to be dark anyway. I'm sure you can close little bits off.
Yeah.
Get in the streets and then bring it back into the ring. You just make it more interesting. But if you do get a chance to see the Flair Stratton fight in the parking lot, it does look quite brutal from Flair. And I do like the way they're playing it by bringing Perez in.
Yeah, I can replace her.
Oh, she could replace her because Flair has been suspended, but then turns up at ringside.
She does what she wants anyway.
Clearly. Yeah. Just wins the Royal Rumble. If you get a chance to watch it, go and watch it. And if you enjoyed what we do, then please don't forget to subscribe. And if you don't subscribe, just give us a like.
Any thoughts or views that you'd like to share, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below.
Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to go and check out our musings video with thoughts and opinions on the last week of WWE. A new one drops every week.
And we'll see you Tuesday for Raw.